commercial real estate is all about big city skyscrapers and massive industrial plants, think again. Here in Harris County, Georgia, rural commercial properties are full of opportunities for business owners and investors alike. From farms to small storefronts, you'd be surprised at what's available just outside the big city. Stick around because I'm going to show you what rural commercial real estate is all about and why it may be the perfect spot for your next venture. And make sure to watch until the end because I'm going to share with you the coolest project going on in Hamilton right now. Let's get to it. Hey y'all, and if it's your first time here, welcome to Cooking Up Real Estate. My name is Stacy Roberts, aka This Realtor Cooks, and I'm here to help you discover all things Harris County, Georgia. My son and I moved to this area just last year, so I'm going to be sharing with you firsthand what it's really like to move to the central western part of Georgia. And whether you're moving your family or your business, I'd love to help. You'll find all my contact information in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you'll always be in the loop of all things Harris County, Georgia. Hey y'all, we're back here in the kitchen, ready for another chitty chat. And today's is all about commercial real estate. So I am so excited about it. And I'm so glad that you're here to join me for it. So as the intro said, we are going to get into some rural commercial real estate. Very hard to say, just so you know. But before we get into the specifics about that here in Harris County, Georgia, I wanted to do just a little storytelling about how it is that I got involved in commercial real estate. So I got licensed back in 2019 in the state of Virginia when I was getting a divorce and just wanted a great way to be able to still be with my son and spend time with him, but have a good earning potential. Did not know COVID was right around the corner. So it was definitely an interesting time to be in the industry and just in the world, of course. And I joined a brokerage in North Georgia called Century 21 Results. Absolutely loved the brokerage, loved the broker Terry Swanson. He's fantastic, such an amazing mentor, teacher. The infrastructure up there was fantastic for a newer agent because, and this was after I had moved to Georgia from Virginia. But yeah, it's such a great infrastructure for newer agents who need mentors. I had a mentor named Bob Komar. Got to give him a shout out too because he was fantastic. He had actually been someone in corporate, so he was very business minded and taught me a lot of how to structure a business, not just learn how to do real estate. Became a master of contracts and genuinely enjoy doing that. A lot of agents don't, but I do. I kind of like the paperwork, which is not the most income producing part of our job, but it is very important to know what it says to help your clients. So anyway, I digress. Was up there at Century 21 Results for, let's see, I guess it was 3 years I was at that brokerage. So at about year 2 in the brokerage, I had an opportunity come across my plate. A good friend of mine, he was previously an NFL player and he wanted to, well, he had already began a nonprofit for coaching children and young teens and things like that. But he wanted to do a TOTS program, like for young kids, teaching them agility and different kinds of endurance techniques and just different things to do before they actually got into teams and athletics. And he was looking for an indoor facility. So if you are going to do something like that, you're going to need a pretty large space, right? So he was eyeing this vacant old Kmart in, I want to say it was in Doraville or Norcross. It was in that vicinity of North Atlanta. And he said, can you get me in there? And I've always been someone who's like, I'm up for the challenge. This isn't something that I just know how to go and do. I don't know how I'm going to get you into this old building. It wasn't even, as far as I know, wasn't even on the market at this point. So I knew that there was this guy in my office. His name was Race Usman, and he was the commercial guy. Okay. He was the one to go to. So I went to the office one day and I said, Race, can I talk to you about this opportunity? And so he has been working commercial real estate in the area for a very long time and he has a lot of connections. So I told him about the property. We looked up who the owner was and he happened to know him. So he was able to coordinate us to get in and do that showing. And I was like, this is so cool. The project didn't pan out for this friend of mine to get that building or to do that. We did go to another building years later, and that was a whole other story. But anyway, that is how I started my interest in the commercial real estate. So, Evan, thank you for that inspiration. And I will link his program because he does still have that rolling in the comment section or the description section of this video so that you can check him out. But anyway, Race reached out to me not too long after that and said, hey, not many agents here are that interested in commercial real estate, but you seem to have an interest. Do you want me to kind of show you the ropes? Do you want an opportunity to learn? And I was like, absolutely. So he sets up this meeting with one of his business associates and we put it on the calendar. And y'all, I'm showing up like businesswoman. Okay, here comes my opportunity. All right. They're telling me about like the potential of buying properties on the courthouse steps and bringing a check. And it just all sounded so exciting. And so that was my kickoff to commercial real estate. And I ended up working closely with him and many of the investors that he does business with. They showed me a lot about commercial leasing, investments, acquisitions, sales, cap rates, cam rates. Although I never did get to make that acquisition out on the courthouse steps. However, knowing Race actually led me to my next mentorship with Rebecca at Summit Real Estate. She has been such an amazing part of my life and part of my career. We met because she was managing one of the properties for these gentlemen as well. And we realized that we did really well together as partners. And eventually it led into me becoming her assistant property manager, as well as moving my license over to her brokerage. And she taught me a ton about the leasing process, negotiation, commercial real estate just in general. And then fast forward to the most amazing part of my life, which was me getting to meet Jesus. And that led me to meeting my husband and in turn moving here to Harris County, Georgia. And so when all of that happened, I was still licensed with Rebecca up there in North Georgia. But as you may know, real estate is hyper local, and it just made the most sense to move my business and my license to a local broker, which I am not sorry I did, because now I am with John Bunn Realty in Hamilton, Georgia, and the whole office and staff and all the agents are really just so fantastic. And so I'm very excited to be bringing commercial real estate into the office and also meeting so many awesome agents through the realtor board that they have the commercial committee out there in Columbus. So still so surrounded by awesome mentors here in Columbus and Harris County, but cannot forget about the journey of how I got here and who helped me to get here. So now that you kind of know how I went from being a residential agent to a commercial agent to now a residential agent, I want to get into a little bit about the nitty gritty of commercial real estate. And then let's look at some real estate opportunities here in Harris County, Georgia. Why is rural commercial real estate something that you should consider investing in? Why is it good, and what even consists of rural commercial real estate? Any kind of business that operates within the rural community. So think retail strips, think small businesses or storefronts, or even small manufacturing sites, depending on where you're at in the zoning. Land that can be used to develop into either manufacturing, distribution, farming, recreational. There's all kinds of uses of land, and that is what you're going to see a good majority of the listings for commercial real estate right here, right now in Harris County, which we'll get into specifically here in a minute to take a look at. But you also have to realize that the rural community real estate just in general, and that also leads into commercial, are going to be a little bit of a lower cost. So your cost in as an investor may be lower than some of the more city suburban areas that you may be investing in currently. So a little bit less risk going into it. And somewhere like Harris County, Georgia specifically, there's a ton of growth in this area. So getting in now is such a great time, because then you can grow with the community as it gets larger and bigger. Some things to consider here in Harris County. Like a lot of smaller rural areas, we want to continue to maintain a smaller community. We don't want too much of a carbon footprint. We don't want big changes inside of the county. You're not going to see a ton of chains and franchises and things like that, drive-throughs. So you're thinking more small, rural storefront type deals. It may limit a bit of what you can invest in, but it is definitely an opportunity, especially depending on your type of business and your desire for getting in on a growing community. And truly, there's, like I said, so much heart around here. So if you have some sort of business that you want to do something great and good for the community, you could guarantee that it would be really embraced around here. And there's just so many amazing people that would want to see things go in a positive direction. So there's a lot of cool opportunity here in Harris County and in rural commercial properties. All right, so if you are not a seasoned investor or someone who has thought about commercial real estate much, and you're just kind of here and curious, I wanted to give a couple of just terms I want to throw out there and explain what they are before we look into what is out there and available right now in Harris County, Georgia. So one thing that you're going to see a lot of when you're looking at commercial listings is cap rates. So what is a cap rate? Well, it's the capitalization rate. It's what kind of money you could expect to make out of an investment. I'm going to pop up the formula here. You can see that it is the net operating income from the property that would be supplied through the current owner, divided by whatever the purchase price is, and you multiply that by 100, gets you your rate. Typically, a good cap rate is going to range from 4% to 12%. If you see something in that 4 to 6, like lower range, that is going to give you a good yield, but it's going to be a lower risk. So think areas that are maybe already built up and established. And then if it's in that higher range, maybe in the 8 to 10% or higher, you're looking at higher risk, probably likely a higher cost and a higher reward. So that is what a cap rate is. That is the kind of numbers that you are looking for when you're looking at a commercial real estate listing. One other common term you're going to see when looking at commercial real estate is CAM or OPEX. They are basically the same thing. They just mean two different things or stand for two different things. CAM is common area maintenance and OPEX is operating expenses. So as an investor, you're going to want to know these because it's going to tell you how much you're going to spend. This is going to be things like the roof, the taxes, the insurance, the sidewalks, the parking lots, all these types of things that you keep up for a building. And obviously, depending on what type of real estate it is, it's going to include different things. And then if you are a tenant, if you're looking to lease a space, this is also important for you because most likely, depending on what kind of lease you are signing, you are going to take on that cost. So you may pay it in a monthly CAM or OPEX fee, and then it would get reconciled at the end of the year and you would see how much you've paid and how much actually things cost. So before we dig into these listings here in Harris County, Georgia, I wanted you to be able to know what those terms and those numbers meant. All right, so we are here on Crexy.com. This is the preferred commercial website for the realtors here in Columbus and Harris County. So what is available right now if you are an investor wanting to invest in Harris County, Georgia? Well, we are going to take a look at that. We've got here this Katala self-storage. I actually just heard about this listing from Doug, who has this one listed over at Jeff Coat Realty. And it is listed here. You can see at 2.23 million, but it shows right here 6.7 cap rate. So like we just talked about, that is a good cap rate to be looking for as an investor. And self-storage spaces typically tend to be pretty low maintenance. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to see a lot of land for sale. So 156 acres there, 14 acres here, 75 here. And that's all over the county from West Point to Hamilton, and then over in West Point again. And then here, I thought this one was really interesting. So this is actually right in downtown Hamilton. I'm going to show you the strip just next to where this building is. And you can see you're here next to the hair salon and the taqueria and everything else down there in the coffee shop, Tiger Lilies. You saw my Hamilton, Georgia video. You'd know a little bit about what's going on here. But this is on the square. And this is just such a small town, charming little square. And I myself live in Hamilton and would love to see something awesome go into this space. It's a really nice building space here. It is now being used for home builders, but like, hello, nail salon in Hamilton, how cool would that be? Or a little market, like a little grocery market. Oh my goodness, that's a dream of mine. If there is someone out there watching this video that wants to partner up and put healthy food in a small market into Hamilton, Georgia, you've got my number right down there below. But anyway, this opportunity exists for investors as well, listed at 793, 655, and then it's a 7.25 cap rate, y'all. So again, if you were listening, good deal with that as an investor. Lots more land here, and things like that. So these are all for sale opportunities. Here we have the for lease options. Not as much going on for lease in Harris County, but we do have this retail office space over in Fortson available at $15 per square. As best I can tell from this listing, that is including your CAM or OPAX rate. But if you are interested in it, I can dig in with the listing agent to find out. But yeah, so there is opportunity for buying and for leasing here in Harris County, Georgia. And that just gives you an idea of what is real time available for you. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today on Cooking Up Real Estate, talking about one of my greatest passions, commercial real estate, and even more so, learning all about this rural commercial real estate here in Harris County, Georgia. Knowing that there are opportunities right in our backyard is pretty awesome. If you have any other topics you'd want me to discuss in regards to commercial real estate, recipes you want me to try, or any other topics or areas you want me to cover, just make sure to comment it down below. I would love to put it on the schedule for the upcoming videos. And if there are any properties that were shown today that you would like to go and see, definitely let me know. You can easily schedule a meeting with me with the QR code, with the banner on my page, or with the links inside of my description. So I will be seeing you on the next video. And in the meantime, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe the channel so you don't miss out on other great content about Harris County and beyond. Way to stick around until the end. Now you get to find out about the coolest commercial real estate project going on here in Hamilton, Georgia right now. So this is an old building that I have been so curious about since I moved here. It's been vacant and it's just gorgeous. And I thought, wow, that would make such a nice restaurant here on the Hamilton Square. And all of a sudden I started seeing workers coming and I'm like, oh my goodness, something is happening. So one day I was eating ice cream with my son and I saw the owner out back and we walked over and started a conversation. And he said that in fact, they are putting in a restaurant. It was the 1879 Old General Store in Hamilton. You can find their Facebook page titled that here to see the progress. But y'all, I will keep you updated on it as well. They are renovating this completely. It's so cool. They're going to have office spaces upstairs and then a restaurant downstairs. God does answer, doesn't he? Check out these gorgeous bathrooms. We all know that when we're in a restaurant and the bathrooms are nice, we feel like the restaurant is even nicer. So if that's any testament to what it's going to be, I cannot wait to try it and I will be sharing it with you all. So stay tuned.